back, Issues himself.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Let's do Empyre.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a massive crossover that just wrapped up a little while ago. Here it is in trade. It's in the description below this video if you want to pick it up. This was supposed to save comics in the pandemic. It was just a big old massive Marvel event that had a gazillion tie-ins, and it was a limited series that changed the landscape of the Marvel cosmos forever. And you know, I had a lot of praise for it every time that I reviewed it on the channel, but it's a very by the numbers kind of event.
I guess never hedge your bets on Kree and Skrulls.
No, I mean sometimes that works out great, like if you do Secret Invasion, for example. But you have to like kind of set that up. This is kind of more. Here's the thing. I think that Empyre is birthed out of the success of No Surrender and No Road Home, which were kind of self-contained, but still intrinsically in continuity Marvel events that featured characters that either like kind of haven't gotten a lot of play or could use an event to kind of bolster them up a little bit. And you know, it involves a writing team of creators. Like that one had Wade and Zub and Ewing like working on that. This one has Al Ewing and Dan Slott. And those two are telling you the story. And Al Ewing, of course, had written a bunch of other like space adventures in his Ultimates book, and you know, he knows the Marvel cosmology in a really big, great way. Where it's like, okay, cool. And Dan Slott had taken over for Fantastic Four and Iron Man, but like, no, don't worry about that. Fantastic Four though, because this is a Avengers Fantastic Four event. I don't know if it's because they were like, hey, we just got Fox. Put Avengers, our like premier property, and Fantastic Four, the one that will replace that premier property, because like who even is on the Avengers anymore? Fantastic Four?
Or Eternals.
Or Eternals.
Don't forget them.
I thought you said or Turtles.
Or Turtles.
Or Turtles.
Remember the Kree-Skrull War?
It's still happening?
See, that's the thing, is it's been happening for aeons.
Right.
But
I thought it was stopped at some point.
This is the event that says it's over.
Oh.
There have been ceasefires before, and that's what we were enjoying before.
Yeah, those
Well,
are
wasn't one of their planets destroyed or something?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the Skrulls.
Yeah, the Skrull homeworld was destroyed, but their war still raged on.
Yeah, that just made the Kree probably a little bit more impetuous, being like, they don't even have a planet now.
Exactly.
Come on,
Now's our chance.
Them.
Yeah, exactly. The Kree-Skrull War has ended in pages of books you probably weren't reading.
Right.
And so...
Wait, it doesn't even end here?
No,
It's
it was
over.
already over.
Like it ended while you slept. They didn't do that like thing where they're like, while you slept, the world changed. It was just literally like in another book that you slept on.
Yeah, that no one was
The
really
Kree-Skrull War ended,
Yeah.
and so here's the fallout. Why did it end? What do they do? How does that affect us? Those three questions are all answered in this event.
Right.
And so this event opens with two books. Avengers Empyre #0 and Fantastic Four Empyre #0, and they're like running concurrently, and they each kind of like show you where those characters are in the event for Empyre as it's going. The Avengers one is Tony Stark has a bad dream about how this race of beings called the Kotati were slaughtered, and he feels like personally responsible. He wasn't like there, but he was also like. The dream is so visceral and real that he feels connected.
The Kotati are...
Now the Kotati, okay, so...
Are they pre-existing? Or
yes, they are.
Okay.
Everyone in here, except for the few characters that are created, are like old, deep cuts into Marvel history and space history, more specifically.
Great.
So,
It's not like the Kotati were made up because it's an analogy for something.
No, thankfully not. There are three races, well, four if you count the humans, but we don't. So there's three races we're dealing with: the Kree, the Skrull, and the Kotati. The idea was, in a way older book, they told this story about how, like, in the early days, like before the Kree-Skrull War, the Skrulls took the Kree and they were like, hey, we've got pretty baller technology. Would you like it? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, well, we put this other race of beings on, and they put like a group of Kree and a group of Kotati on the blue area of the moon, which of course is the area of the moon where there's oxygen, where the Watcher used to live.
Right.
Before he fucking died. in a stupid story called Original Sin. The Kotati are a race of plant people. They're like, people call them tree people, but like that gets them confused with Groot, and they're not. They're not Groot people. They're plant people. Because they're not trees, like they're plants. But anyway.
Trees are plants.
Yeah, but like trees are a type of plant, and Kotati can manipulate all plants.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
And they're made of plants. Like they're not, they look like
living foliage?
like carbon-based human life forms, but like they're not.
Is it only one of them gets it?
Yes.
Oh, so they're in a race.
Yes.
I see.
So the Kree build like the city on the blue area of the moon.
Okay.
And the Kotati grow a vast garden. And the Skrulls are like, we like the garden more, they get the technology. And the Kree are like, fuck you, and they kill the Skrulls and the Kotati, take their ship, and they go and start the Kree-Skrull War.
Hooray.
And that begins the Kree-Skrull War.
Screw your home and garden channel.
Yeah, exactly. No, what? It was a trick? No, they grew. You built and you destroyed, but like they grew. They made something out of nothing. Like, we built these buildings and shit.
Yeah.
No, it's more beautiful that they made plants and crap.
Is this a retcon of the origin of the Kree-Skrull War?
No!
Or they just never explained it before?
No, they did explain it before. That's actually what happened. It's just that they're actually capitalizing on it in this.
Oh, I see. So this is like...
It's reminding you
without
without citing it. Because if they cited it, you'd be like, oh, it's a boring old comic book that I don't want to read. Like, now it's like, oh, it's an exciting story that's fresh and new.
Right.
But
it's cool.
Iron Man has shown the experience of the Kotati being slaughtered by the Kree.
Okay.
And he's like, oh man, the Kotati got a raw deal. And then he gets a call and they're like, yo, there's some shit going on in the blue area of the moon. And Iron Man's like, that's convenient. They go there and like there is a vast new flourishing garden on the blue area of the moon.
That wasn't there before all these plants.
No.
Okay.
The only thing that matters about this team is that She-Hulk is still like Hulk, you know? So
like angry?
She doesn't use like, you know, modifiers and adjectives. So yeah. She has
she's bigger.
She has Hulk speak.
She has Hulk speak, and she's bigger.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
She appears more hulked out than she previously did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
So they're walking around this garden, which Cap makes a fun comment about, where he's like, I fought in jungles before, but like usually if it's like quiet, you hear like bugs and animals and stuff.
Right.
But I hear nothing. It's kind of scary. Then they get attacked by a Kree sentry.
Oh.
But it has like this crazy plant-like head on it, and it attacks them and they defeat it. That's what all the... It doesn't matter.
It's a Michael Bay book.
Yeah, right. So they're fighting this thing, and then an old Avengers character called the Swordsman shows up, and he makes quick work of that thing as they like work together and defeat it. The Swordsman, Jacques Ducan, is an old Avengers character who uses swords.
What? Whoa! Hold the phone!
Yep, he's a Frenchman who uses swords.
He uses swords.
Sacre bleu!
Is he just a man?
He was.
Ah.
But
now he
died.
Oh.
He died like twice over, as a matter of fact. When everyone's enthusiasm for Swordsman died down, they were like, what else can we do with him? And so they made up this like hokey cosmic bullshit that involved Mantis when they invented her.
Okay.
And the idea was that like Mantis is this cosmic Madonna, and Swordsman is like the perfect being because they like reconstituted him using plant technology. And so Swordsman basically is like reborn or regrown as like a plant man version of Swordsman, and he bangs Mantis, and the two of them have a kid named Koi, or Sequoia. Koi is his nickname. That's what his friends call him. And Sequoia is like the cosmic messiah. And what does that mean? We made that up, so who cares? Well, we're paying it off now. Here's Sequoia. And so...
Wait, so this all happened previously?
That all happened.
Oh.
But now Swordsman's back because he had like melted or whatever when he gave his sword to Hawkeye. And so... He's back now. What? Swordsman's back.
And he's on the moon?
And he's on the moon and he's green because he's still made of plants. So if we haven't lost you yet in our epic event that's going to get people to forego the pandemic and go to comic book stores again.
Right.
Sequoia's back. And
well, all right. So in their defense, to most of their readers, this is all new.
Yeah, and they're like, who gives a shit?
Well, yeah, because they're just covering the bullet points like real quick. Okay, all right. In case you didn't know, here's 3 pages about like this character, and it's like, what?
Yeah, and they don't do a very good job of explaining who Swordsman is, where he came from, which is fair because like Dan Slott doesn't care about that. He remembers
Right.
Swordsman. He read those
And he
books.
knows the
Dan
reason
Slott's
he
just
doesn't
like,
care.
there's Google.
Yeah,
Just look it up.
right.
Look it up, but it's also like that's impenetrable because like you've already lost me. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, but hey, look, Swordsman. And I think it's because, again, of the no surrender, no road home effect, where it's like, look, it's like deep cuts, old characters, new characters, like reminding you about like the freshness of the classic runs of Avengers, where it's like anything could happen. Any character could show up and be an Avenger. And here we go.
Right.
And it's like, look, Sequoia and Swordsman. Boom. And so Sequoia's there and he's like, I'm the Cosmic Messiah. Remember that? And everyone's like, no. Except for the Avengers who were like, of course we do. Oh my God, Sequoia, it's been so long. How great is it that you're here?
Who said he was the Cosmic Messiah? Like he said that?
Everyone said that. Like he was.
What is that?
He was prophesized to be that because his mother is the Cosmic Madonna.
Prophesied by whom?
Space people back in the Avengers, like 30 years ago.
Oh, space people.
Yeah.
The Avengers didn't say that. They're
Right.
like, what?
Okay.
No, Sequoia was actually like raised in a suburb in like Long Island
Oh.
for a while. And then, he reached his like righteous age.
So that's the thing, like, well, you could be a special secret person you don't even know.
Yeah,
and
this
someone comes down from space and says, like, you're the chosen one.
This is the warning for parents who tell their kids they can do anything. Most of the time they're wrong, but sometimes they're too right, and it becomes a problem. So Sequoia comes out of like the foliage and he's like, hey, it's me. Remember me? And Swordsman's here too. My dad. Even though this is like a copy of a copy. Like the guy who banged my mom was a copy, but this is like a copy of him because that one melted. But he still has all of Jock's memories and stuff. So it's like my dad.
So treat him like you normally would, but don't be surprised when he dies.
Yeah, just remember he melted and was reconstituted.
No, they don't even bother to tell you that. I'm telling you to remember that. Because it's already convoluted.
Right.
Let me cut through the bullshit, okay? There's an ominous garden on the moon. The Avengers show up, old character shows up. I made it, and I came out of nowhere, and I have no effect on continuity, so guess what I'm gonna be? The fucking bad guy.
Yeah.
The second that Iron Man lands on the planet, he is like, this is amazing. Like, he is enraptured in this experience of like, they grew things here.
You fucking hippie.
What?
Yeah.
You're Iron Man.
Yeah, no, but he's obviously being affected by something.
There's some kind of,
Yeah, he got affected.
Space pollen.
No, it's not. I thought it was Spacebalm, but it's not. That like implanted the memory or experience of the slaughtering of the Kotati to get Iron Man to be like all in on Kotati like right away, so that he would convince the Avengers to like also be all in on the Kotati, even though they already are, because like Thor considers himself like the uncle of Sequoia, so he's like, oh man, Sequoia, this is great. We're gonna be pals, we're buddies. Let's do this. And so
I've been hanging out with these mortals. They suck.
yeah, come on, plant boy. So Sequoia's like, yo, my garden's great, but like it needs to be bigger. It needs like, we need atmosphere and shit. Can you like make it rain? And Thor's like, that's what I fucking do, baby. So then he makes it rain.
Hammers.
No, I need like the actual rain. I need like water. Oh, because I usually, nowadays I kind of make it rain.
You're going to want to call Storm for that.
Thankfully, the X-Men have a portal and a house on the moon, so they could easily do that, but they don't. There's a tie-in.
They're busy with
the House of X and stuff. There is a tie-in about that. This does affect the X-Men, kinda.
I mean, they have a giant garden and it's alive.
Oh.
This is a garden. It just makes sense.
There's a moment where like a plant-based portal opens up, and someone goes like, "What?" And Cap goes, "The X-Men have one. Why doesn't that exist now? Like, why don't we just assume that's a thing?"
Right. Why not us?
And I'm like, fair enough, Cap. Can't argue with that. If anyone's going to roll with the punches, it's Steve Rogers. The Kree and the Skrull are like, we're usually killing each other, but we're going to team up now and work together, and we're going to seal that bond by slaughtering a race of beings that are lesser than us, and that's the plant people. Let's go! That's what Sequoia is saying is going to happen.
Where are the plant people living now? I thought they were all killed in the past.
The ones that were on the moon were.
Oh, but
It
they have a
wasn't all of them.
planet somewhere.
Oh, they're everywhere.
I
I was gonna say, like, it would be dumb if it was just that one garden.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never heard of them before,
No.
so I assumed they were destroyed.
No, they just weren't relevant.
Oh, okay.
Through interstellar chicanery, the Kree and the Skrull essentially decide to get a figurehead character who will unite the two races. And that is Hulkling of the Young Avengers, because he is literally the offspring of a Kree and a Skrull.
Oh. Okay, that kind of makes sense.
And he's heroic and powerful, so it's like, look at what can be achieved by our union.
Yeah, but why would Hulkling lead a battle against...
Well, that's
The
the
Katati?
question, right?
whatever
Because
they're called.
he's a good guy, and he's like, he wouldn't normally lead a war
Like a
against
genocidal war against plant people?
Exactly.
Well, unless he thinks that they've been wronged.
Right. Or he thinks that they might be a threat.
Yeah.
And he has an inner circle, and that inner circle consists of a Kree pursuer and Super Skrull.
And the Super Skrull.
And the Super Skrull Clert, who is, of course, like a huge asshole, but like, whatever. He's like, I'm in. I'm tired of everyone dying. And, you know, I'm not normally allowed in. So, like, this works out great for me.
I like this.
I like being on the inside.
Uh-huh.
So, the Avengers are like, we got this, man. It's been too long since there's been like a black and white fight for the Avengers. But it's good versus evil, baby. We're gonna kill everybody, and we're gonna fucking win. And I don't care who's on the other side. And the last page is that, like, the Kree Skrull Empyre is coming, and the Fantastic Four is with them. And you're like, what? So then the Fantastic Four tie-in is that the Fantastic Four were dealing with another cosmic adventure. They run out of gas. They get towed to a cosmic casino run by an elder that they create for this event called the Profiteer, who is the sister of the Grandmaster. And she runs like this casino that essentially, it's got like other games of chance, but for the most part, the main attraction is this like mini gladiatorial arena that is fought by two avatars of the Kree and the Skrull. There's like these two children who are like genetically predisposed to represent the collective experiences of the races that they represent. So like there's one Skrull and there's one Kree, and like they represent the entirety of their races, and they execute reenactments of the great battles of the Kree-Skrull War over the last millennia.
Okay.
But because they fight now, the odds can be tipped in either favor. So just because the Skrull won this battle here doesn't mean that the Skrull will win this fight in this arena. And that's what the betting's all about. You know, people are like, you know, give me 600 quatloots on the Skrull during this big war where the Kree won. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, it might be different this
Exactly.
time.
And these children are like, the totality of like their hate and their rage and their like and all the injustices they fought are within them. You know, so they'll fight to the last possible breath they have in their body, which works out because like they do die.
I was gonna say, do they kill each other?
They kill each other, and then the Profiteer like sends them back and like heals them up.
I see.
Huh.
And they do it all over again.
And they do it all over again. So it's kind of nightmarish. And
yeah.
Well, do they remember dying?
oh sure.
Oh.
Yeah, and then when they're not fighting, like they just like live together.
All right.
You know, and they're not like friends, but like, you know, they live together and they fight each other.
They're just doing a job.
They're doing it well, but they're children. They don't really know better.
Right.
So the Fantastic Four are there, and Reed's like, I'll talk to the head honcho, and Sue's like, I'll go with you. And the guy who gives them a tow wants payment for the ride, so he's
like winking at Johnny, being like, hey.
Basically, the Thing is well known throughout the galaxy as being like a badass. So Johnny convinces them to like enlist the Thing in fights. You know, he's like, I'm his manager. You know, it's this cute little Fantastic Four story.
You gotta get him, Rock.
Literally. So,
wait, so fighting with the kids or separately from the two kids that are the
they don't know there's
avatar
children.
of-
When they get there and they see the children, they're like, oh, fuck this. And so they just jump into the fight to try and like save these children from themselves.
It'd be amazing if it's just like, nah, man, these are the stakes. Thing, clobber them.
Kill him.
Yeah.
Burn this child to death.
But they're children. I said clobber them.
Yeah, it's a street punch. The two kids, Franklin and Valeria. Valeria's like, I'm a super genius. I know how to win at gambling. Loses everything. And Sue finds out, and so she uses her invisibility powers to help them cheat.
To get their
To
money
get their
back.
money back.
What do they even have like space money for? Like, how do they have money that will
I think
even
when they
be
walk in,
accepted
they're
here?
given like a couple of bucks in
okay.
chips.
I mean, that's a smart move by the casino, but also at the same time, like, of course you lost. It's a casino.
Yeah, well, it's Space Casino. You don't know how this works.
Of course, gonna rob you of your money.
So Reed like manipulates the arena so that it's like the fight that they have to get into is one where neither the Kree nor the Skrull win, and the Fantastic Four were there. So like Ben and Johnny occupy their roles as Ben and Johnny during that original fight that Dan Slott read, and the two of them are like, "What do we do now? We don't kill each other. Now that we have a minute to not fight each other, like." Do I hate you? You know, oh my God, what an existential crisis for these like 11-year-old children.
Right.
And so,
Hey, do you like candy? I do like candy. Let's be friends. Okay.
more or less, they're
Profiteer's like, shit!
Yeah. And so, when Profiteer gets everything battened down, that's when Sue arrives with her children who have broken the bank. They basically own the casino from all the cheating they've done.
Oh my God.
And they're like, we will give you back your casino and all your money if you let us get a ship, get gas for it, and keep the children. Because like Ben feels really bad for these kids. He like for no reason is like, these poor children, I should adopt them. And it's like,
So
all
like
right.
they're like Qui-Gon and the Phantom Menace.
No,
They
because
cheat
Qui-Gon,
in order
well,
to
yes,
get-
it's that
They
plot.
use their magic abilities to cheat this business
Yes.
out of all its money.
Yes.
Oh, and they're specifically
And it's
rolling
slaves.
dice too.
And they're slaves.
Yes.
There's children who are being rescued. Okay.
Yeah, except Qui-Gon is an emotionless monster who's like, I can only save one of you, and I could definitely
that-
kill this blue flying idiot.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, why did I even do this?
I'm absolutely amazed that they can't just detect Sue. Or just like,
Oh, me too.
yeah, right?
No,
So
I
what,
was
you're
like,
invisible?
What? You know who the Fantastic Four are.
Heath
Anyway,
signatures, I don't give a shit.
So
like,
they-
you're there.
doesn't
But also
matter.
at the same time, you won. You have the entire casino. You don't need to trade it back. Just fucking buy whatever you want.
Well, no, but
it's
they
space
want-
bucks. They don't care. What are they going to do with it?
They want to go home.
They want to
right?
go home, and they don't want to
Yeah.
disrupt this thing because the Kree Skrull Wars ended, and Reed finds this out by like hearing one of the TVs. The like galactic economy is destabilized. Like because the Profiteer isn't just named that because she runs a casino. She's a war profiteer. She sells weapons to both sides. And so now that the war's over, she's like, this casino's all I have. So when they steal the casino from under her, she's like, oh shit. So she's like totally between a rock and a hard place. So they manipulate her into giving them a ship, and they leave. And she's like, ooh, curse you, Fantastic Four. I'll be a character in Dan Slott's book. And so they go, and they take the kids with them.
Right.
And Ben's like, this is great. I'm a dad now. Woo.
So, what are they going to do with these kids? I don't understand.
They're
What is
gonna
their
raise
plan?
them. That's their plan. Like the fact is, Dan Slott wanted he married Ben and Alicia Masters in his Fantastic Four book, and he's like, okay, now that they're married, I'm
Now
gonna
they
give them
need some
children.
kids.
And I don't want to have to explain like how his Orange Rock dork actually functions. So I'm just gonna like give them these two adopted kids, and it'll be fun because like they got kids, they're kids, they have powers. We won't have to wait for them to age. That's the other thing is that like if they have
Oh,
kids,
you don't want
like,
babies.
Yeah, no.
Babies are boring.
Babies suck. Watch the Shrek franchise. So they get into a ship and they go, and they like bump into the Kree Skrull unified empire on their way to Earth. And they're like, what the hell? They get like swept up into it.
Okay.
And so that catches you up with the fight.
Oh, so they're just there.
Yes.
They're not
Yeah,
like with.
No.
Okay. I see.
So the Kree and the Skrull like unified empire like shows up, and the Avengers are like, yo, we're gonna fight you. And they're like, what? And they like show up on the ship, and they're talking to Hulkling. Ted is his name.
Ah.
And I don't think he goes by Hulkling. I mean, like, sometimes they call him that, but, like, they really shouldn't, because, like, when they created him, he was big and green, and he was on the Young Avengers, and he was, like, the Hulk character. And then the twist was, oh, he's actually, like, a Skrull Kree half-breed.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a fun surprise. But Teddy's there, and he holds the Excelsior sword. And
Oh, sword.
yeah, oh, yes.
Oh, maybe there's going to be
I'm
something
sorry.
with the sword guy.
Oh, the sword's important too. The
sword's
no, Swordsman does not wield the Excelsior blade, nor does he factor in with the space sword.
Oh.
So there you have it.
The Excelsior sword is like a thing in the history.
Yeah, it has many names. I don't remember if it's always been called the Excelsior sword, but like they call it the Sword of Space or the Space Sword or whatever. But it's also called Excelsior. Which is frustrating, by the way, because just recently, the company that was formed around Stan Lee, POW Entertainment, copyrighted the word Excelsior. So Marvel is trying not to use it in their books anymore,
Oh.
which like really sucks. So the Avengers are like, dude, Teddy, your vizier is the Super Skrull. And
You're not on the right side.
Yeah, you're trying to kill these are plant people. What can they even do, really? Come on. Leave them alone. Don't you understand you're being manipulated? Look, it wasn't the first time a young person was manipulated by old people. Now listen to us and let us tell you what to do. And he's like,
Wait a minute.
and Teddy's like, dude. Like,
does he explain at any point, like, how he came to be in this scenario where he's just going along with it?
It's another book. Like in earlier stories, like the Kree and the Skrull, and more or less, it was originally a deception.
Okay.
That, like, the pursuer, the Kree Tanalth, who's a character in history,
right, pre-existing.
She's like all in on this thing, but she's actually a secret Skrull named Urkill, who is also a character.
Oh, was
Who's
she
been
always the
established?
same thing, or
No.
they're making her the same?
They're explaining that, like, Tanalth was a character who died, and Urkill replaced her.
Okay.
And
Because she's a Skrull.
because she's a Skrull.
She's then they could do that.
And Urkill is the Skrull Empress who survived Galactus's destruction of their homeworld. This is not to be confused with Vernaki, who was the radicalized religious zealot
Right.
empress
That was a
of the
different one.
Skrull world that they
Right.
went and found, who was ostracized on another planet. This is Urkill, rightful queen, well, empress of the Skrull Empire. And she is the grandmother of Teddy.
Oh.
Okay. He's not going to have to marry her, is he?
No.
Like some weird, bizarre, familial,
he's-
keep it in the family kind of
He's
thing?
gay.
Hey, she's got a big hammer. I bet Thor likes that.
He doesn't. The reason why it matters that She-Hulk has a hammer, because she doesn't really like use it much in this story,
Okay.
is that she's given this hammer and it like focuses her rage and all of her like Hulkdom so that she can be She-Hulk you remember.
What?
What?
So she can talk normally.
They have to give her a goddamn device for that?
well,
Just to bring her back to the one. Why don't we?
why can't we just have She-Hulk?
just
that we
undo
like?
it,
Well,
yeah.
and it's Al Ewing and Dan Slott, so they're a little clever about it, where they're like, "It's She-Hulk, she's back," and then later you'll find out that like, "Oh, Swordsman gave it to her," so obviously it's a deception.
Yeah, it's got to be bad.
Because Swordsman's also a puppet of the Katati, who are also, of course, the secret bad guys of the story.
Like
because they
old
don't go like, "Oh, and the metals are made of no." She just has it and it does this thing. End of story.
And they're like, oh, there's a fleet coming. No time to worry about that.
Where'd you get that hammer? What'd you make it out of?
Oh,
It
there's a
works like
fleet.
that.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
shit, let's go.
Okay.
Iron Man is like, let's go. And thankfully they have like a Ghost Rider on their team. So they put Robbie in the cockpit of the spacefaring Quinjet. And so it becomes like a flaming Ghost Rider Quinjet.
Okay,
Have we ever seen that
that's
before?
cool.
No.
It's a cool image.
Yeah.
But, like,
But do you love that he turns their missiles into penance stairs?
What?
So he's like, okay, let's go.
that makes no sense.
So he's fighting these the Ghost Rider Quinjet's like flying around and it's like attacking the Kree and the Skrull, and then he's like, okay, pew pew, and these two giant like metaphysical skulls go rah, over the fleet, and then all the Kree and the Skrulls have all of their sins laid bare, and they're like, oh, what has become of us?
Wow. Okay.
Wait, you're telling me his penance stare works for once?
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, this isn't Danny Cat.
he
This
shouldn't
is
even have a penance stare, but yes.
I was gonna say I didn't think because he's not actually a friggin' Ghost Rider,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
He just looks like one.
He just looks like one.
But he also has a penance stare now.
But he is a Ghost Rider. For all intents and purposes, he's a Ghost Rider because most people don't care or remember.
Right. Right. So
Look, he's
that
got a
seems
skull,
like
he's on
kind of
fire.
OP.
There.
Yeah.
He
should-
could launch penance stare missiles from a Quinjet that can
He's also
make
on
an
fire.
entire fleet full of aliens like incapacitated.
Yes.
Jesus. All right.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right now. That's dumb.
I agree. It looks neat.
It does
neat.
look-
It doesn't look awesome. It doesn't look
Right.
epic. It
No.
looks neat. Like, that's a fun idea in this event that no one asked for. So then, what about this? What about if the ship that was built by Wakandan technology also turned into a giant Black Panther mech?
It's a ship, but it's a mech.
Yeah. Well, it's like a
Do
transform.
do they all have to be in different parts of it to pilot it?
They don't Power Rangers it or Voltron it.
All right. Okay.
No, just Black Panther.
It's just Black Panther.
They're not just dealing with these aliens and their ships. They also got to deal with Captain Glory, who was invented during, like, I think, No Surrender. He's a Kree warrior who's been bred to not feel bad about the things he does. So
Your
he's a
penance stare doesn't
badass.
work on me.
That's right.
He's the only one who's immune.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So they're fighting, and then Thor's like, fuck this. I'm just going to hit Hulkling with my hammer and end it.
Right,
So
if
he
he's the key to all of it.
Yeah, so he throws the hammer, and Hulkling stops the hammer with the space sword. Like, it just stops.
Okay.
It's like, oh.
Space sword, space metal hammer. All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sword is, like, sentient or righteous or something. Like, it knows friend from foe.
Righteous.
You know, like, it... Later on...
The sword has many powers.
The sword has many powers. That's all that matters.
One of them is stopping
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
It looks like the Fantastic Four are helping the Kree and Skrull.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
Just
they're
like,
because the
'cause they're
Avengers
there?
because the Avengers have been like radicalized.
Right. So they're
And-
like, the Avengers are the aggressors. Yeah, but wait, isn't this fleet going to attack these plant people?
Yes.
So aren't the Kree and the Skrull clearly the aggressors?
Yes, but
But fuck plants.
no, but the Fantastic Four are like, let's sit down and talk about this.
Oh, and the Avengers are like, no! So they're like, all
the
right.
time for talking is past.
Right.
Iron Man is like, yeah, that's okay, because I outfitted Mjolnir with like a little Stark device. Like it rode with Mjolnir. Like he put it on Mjolnir, and then Thor threw it because he kind of knew that Thor wasn't going to be able to win. So it lands in the ship, and then they upload their computer virus into the systems that affect both Kree and Skrull technology, and literally a little animated GIF like you get from Independence Day shows with those like and all their ships are incapacitated.
Oh my god, they just did Independence
Okay.
Day.
Everybody was
Can't
already
do
incapacitated
that.
by the
They
penance
got
stare.
over it. You get over it.
Oh, I feel all the guilt.
Well, he only had, two, he
Oh,
only had
well.
2 Penance Stare missiles, so then that was like...
Pew pew! That's all I've got. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all the gas I got left in the tank
Yeah.
for my penance stare missiles. How does that work? You should be able to pew, 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 forever because I'm made of hellfire.
My
Or
penance stare
not.
doesn't stop.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's a daily, I gotta recharge it.
I mean, I can imagine it like takes a minute.
Yeah.
That took a lot out of me. Give me 5 minutes and a glass of orange juice.
The Empyre is now incapacitated.
Uh-huh. Wow, that was really easy.
I know.
To take down an entire fleet. Iron Man could take down an entire Kree Skrull fleet.
Yeah.
Skrull
I'm
fleet.
impressed that they had to use the hammer for that. Why couldn't he just do it remotely?
Well, they don't
It's a
have
fucking
Wi-Fi.
digital virus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he does do it wirelessly, but maybe it needs to be
It's
like.
gotta be close enough.
Yeah.
Why does he just fire like a little drone up there?
It was more fun to use Mjolnir.
Okay.
So then Sequoia's like, I'm the bad guy of the book, hooray! And so he enacts his nefarious scheme, which is to manipulate all the plant life that's like within the ships. Like if there's any plants, if anybody ate an apple or whatever, like it will affect you. With the Death Blossom, which is this biotechnology, it's
You could
basically
see it.
yeah.
Oh, that was the thing on the moon.
yeah.
But they didn't talk
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, they didn't
It's
explain
the
it.
almost ivory tower from Neverending Story.
Yeah, it looks like that. But no, the Death Blossom's actually, it looks like an egg that they use later. There's 2 Death Blossoms. There's one on the moon, and then there's one that Sequoia wants to use on Earth.
Sequoia, you claim to be this god and messiah. You have a thing called a death egg or death blossom.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if you want to brand it that. Kind of makes you come off like a
Sounds
bad guy.
kind of
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna
evil.
kill everyone because like
Yeah, I'm the
animal
Messiah
life-
for the bad guy.
yeah, exactly. Animal life is bad. I'm gonna kill everyone.
Oh.
I
'Cause
get
you, like,
that-
eat us.
He didn't even say that.
Like
It's
we're
more just
not
like,
even like real.
We love carnivores. Carnivores are great.
right.
But curse those herbivores.
Yeah. So he declares war on every vegetarian on the planet. No, he's just like, we're plant people. We're tired of being like made example of, or you know,
Made into salads.
No, it's not like justice for plants. It ain't happening. It's just that he's like, we're gonna take over. We're gonna roll in and take shit over. And
We're
so,
tired of being unimportant in the cosmic universe.
Yeah,
Bingo!
it's time for the Katati.
Yeah,
Yeah, now it's our time.
And like, listen, like the Kree and the Skrull both like manipulated and used us before, so it's
Right.
like it's justice time.
Oh.
Also, fuck you.
Right.
And like, listen, Avengers, like you raised me, kinda like you two Avengers had me, and you guys like were nice to me when I invited you to my obvious trap.
Right.
And so like I'll let you guys survive. Like you can be like my plants. Like we'll let you like eat our vegetables and whatnot.
I'll put you in a small pot.
Yeah, you'll live here. And they're like, fuck you. So everyone's fucked. Like all the Fantastic, anyone in the ships and stuff, like anyone who was not an Avenger is immediately affected by the Death Blossom. And so like the plants within them start growing, and like the thing is like spewing vines, and it's just
yeah, they're like exploding out of him.
Yeah.
Like, pieces of his body are like thrown away.
Yeah, and that's where like the Al Ewing body horror from Immortal Hulk shows up, where you're like, oh, that's fun. Like,
is it the fact that it's just any plant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
So
it turn into that plant? Is like if you eat an apple, is an apple tree
No.
gonna burst out of you, or is
No,
it
it's
just
just-
like Katati?
it's
stuff?
Katati greenery.
vines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just morphs.
It's quicker and easier to draw.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also scarier.
Yeah.
It also doesn't make any fucking sense, but whatever.
No. So,
Also, since it's the thing, like, yeah, we can have like holes appear in his body. He's a rock. Who
exactly,
cares?
he'll grow back.
Yeah, he'll heal or whatever.
So that's when Sequoia declares that his new empire is going to start on Earth.
Your new empire.
Oh no!
That's how you spell it in
Katati.
Katati.
Yeah. No,
In the Katati alphabet.
maybe it's like we're making an
Empire
empire.
starts
Starts with a Y.
Yeah.
I think it's just like we're gonna burn down your race and supplant it with our own. So it's like an empire and a pyre. So I might as well just put them together.
You're really reaching.
So starts my new
Sequoia.
empire. If you could see in my head how I'm spelling this, this would
would
be
know that they
hilarious.
are-
It would be kind of you
Get
get
an
it.
empire? Like what?
Like a funeral pyre. Like we're burning it.
Oh, I just heard you yell empire with a bizarre
but
emphasis.
I know.
if it was a book and you were reading it, you'd see
know.
how I'm spelling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. So what follows is like the war against the Katati, and
Right. That was all the setup.
That was
for
all
this
the setup.
epic battle.
Yes, and essentially the whole book is the Katati want Wakanda because of the Great Mound. The Great Mound is like where the first like vibranium asteroid hit Wakanda, and it's where Wakandans get their vibranium from, and it may be like where all vibranium on Earth comes from.
Right.
But because the mound is like mixed with the soil and everything, like it's kind of like intrinsically part of the Earth itself. Like
Yeah, but it's mineral. It's not a plant.
yeah, but like the plants and everything around it have like fused with the rock because it's vibranium. We can say that that's what it would
Yeah.
happen.
Like whatever.
So the Katati are like, we need to get to Wakanda. We're gonna plant our Death Blossom into the Great Mound, and once our Death Blossom connects with the vibranium on Earth, we can then be able to send out like a signal, much like the signal I sent into Tony Stark's brain that made him want to like make out with us and stuff, and like it will control the Earth, and we'll be able to use the effect that we had on the Korean Skrulls
Yeah.
in the fleet
Right.
across the galaxy.
Across the galaxy.
Yes, that's how strong and powerful vibranium is. I mean, there's a lot of vibranium in that mountain.
Is it like most of the vibranium in the whole galaxy also?
No.
Like, are there no other vibranium asteroids that weren't populated where he could have more easily done this?
There's vibranium, but like it's not so much. Usually it's scattered. Like it was just coincidentally Earth got the most of it. Everyone who was attacked by the Katati in that Death Blossom attack didn't die,
Right.
but it will affect and kill humans on Earth.
on Earth.
So we better be really careful and win this fight real fast.
Right.
So,
Okay.
oh, by the way,
does the Katati have like ships? Like, how are they getting to Earth? Are they going to use the Kree
they have
ships
they have
and
their
stuff?
they have their not Krakoan plant-based teleportation technology.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
portals.
right, the portal.
The portals,
The
yeah.
portals there.
By the way, this is all set up in a book called Incoming. It's literally called Incoming with an exclamation point. In which Al Ewing sets up a character that literally nobody cares about.
Is it spelled with a Y at the beginning?
No, Incoming. No, it's just it sets things up where like a Kree and a Skrull died, and they said beware the plants, and like so Tony Stark heard about this, and he's like, I'm probably not talking about the same plants. So then they go, hey, listen, did you read Incoming? Because a Kree exploded with plants and then said beware the plants and then died. So it's like, maybe we should worry about this. And Stark's like, idiot, damn, stupid. And he's like,
I thought it was Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, I thought you just loved that soundtrack.
Don't feed the plants.
Yeah, that's the worst one on the entire album, by the way.
Well, it's because it's not in the good one.
No, the movie has that. That's a deleted ending, and it sucks then too. It's just so amelodic and horrible.
I thought that was only in the shitty in Jack Nicholson version.
Oh no, the Jack Nicholson version has no music whatsoever.
Oh
no, it's a super shitty, low budget, made in 3 days garbage movie. No, Little Shop of Horrors exists only because it was a bet. Literally, it was a bet. They're like, I bet you can't make a movie in 3 days using only the pre-existing sets we have here. Katati, of course, land on Earth and they start taking over, but they're not affecting people. They're just taking over.
Right. They haven't. Well, they don't have the Death Blossom set up yet.
Exactly.
They got to grow it. Or
exactly.
whatever.
Even though I feel like there's no way they couldn't just do that anyway. The Avengers summon the Bifrost. Thor's kind of in charge of Asgard right now, so he can just do that.
Okay.
And so they leave and they teleport. And they're gonna bring Captain Marvel, but she's like, no, I'm gonna stay here because I'm a space character. So she stays with the Fantastic Four, and she convinces Captain Glory to work with her and try to right the wrongs of the Avengers wrought. And so, the Katati are still the influence on the Kree and the Skrull are still felt.
Right.
And then
they're still covered in plants and shit.
They're still covered in plants and shit. And Thing is barfing plant life.
Why is he seemingly the most affected? I don't understand.
I had 7 big salads before I left. I was trying to eat healthier.
Blame my wife. So no, Reed and Sue. Reed's my elasticity precludes me from being affected that badly.
Right, I just stretch around the plants that grew inside me.
And Sue created a force field and kept them from doing that.
Okay.
And Johnny burned them out. But
I see.
but Thing's rock powers did not help. So Hulkling busts out the Excelsior sword and he hits Thing with it, and it kills the Katati influence within him. Because the sword knows friend from foe, so it's like an energy sword kind of.
Okay.
So it goes through him.
It'll go through Thing, but only
hits the
bad
plants
parts.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could use to cure cancer.
Oh yeah.
But we don't do that. So they're like, wait a minute. If that sword knows friend from foe, we could use the energy within the sword to send out a pulse that'll kill all the Katati influence within the fleet, and we'll get the book back on track. So they stab Captain Marvel with it, and she absorbs the energy within the sword, expels it out, and then she dies and then comes back to life. They purge the Katati out of everybody. So
the sword can do that. The sword doesn't imbue its power upon another being.
Well, her ability, though, is she can absorb energy.
And the sword literally is made of it, so that works. Stark and Reed go to the Celestial Head, and they basically try to come up with a solution. Stark is really down on himself, and Reed's shut up.
Right. Yeah, you got tricked by Plant Man.
Yeah, get over it.
Right. We've all been tricked by Plant Men before.
Exactly.
Or something.
Right. A couple of other Ghost Rider and the Thing, they go to Wakanda to defend the Great Mound. Shuri gets her cat gauntlets out, and all of the force of Wakanda go there and they yell Yibambe. Oh, and I promise you Black Panther will yell at some point Wakanda forever. And
okay, but that's just them sucking their own dicks.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's you got it. It's in the movie. It doesn't need to be here, but whatever. So the original pretense is they want to come up with how they can stop them from controlling plants.
Okay.
If they can stop using our own vegetation against us, we would be able to contain them to just themselves.
Okay.
But then they discover that there's other problems at work that only they can solve.
Okay.
I'm amazed the Katati just haven't used our plants against us on Earth. Oh, we're here. All your grass is now razor sharp and is stabbing you.
Well, that's
Just
what the
throwing
blossom
everywhere.
thing does, right? They can't just do that.
They can't just do that. No, the
gotta-
Death Blossom has to.
They got to construct the Death Blossom.
It has to be
first.
planted.
Or grow the Death Blossom.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that is what they will do.
Right. Oh, that's their plan.
Do you know how hard it is to cultivate and grow a death blossom? Eons.
There are also not a lot of them. There's one on the moon and there's one in their hands.
And they can only plant it on the mound. That's where it'll do what they need to do, so they have to get there.
Well, and they planted on the moon and they were going to take over there, but there's an X-Men tie-in where Magneto blows it up.
Oh.
So don't worry about that.
Okay.
You know that Death Blossom we saw in the beginning?
Yeah, that's
there's
gone now.
only one plant base on the moon.
That's right.
Fuck you.
It's ours. Get out of here. They also
Krakoa.
there's also like another tie-in where maybe it's the same tie-in. I don't know. There was like a mini series where Scarlet Witch feels really bad about how like she made no more mutants, and so
Still feel bad about that.
She always feels bad about
she
that.
should feel bad about that. So
I
she
agree,
goes to
but like,
so she goes to Genosha and she like steals a whole bunch of magical artifacts, and she tries to. She's like, I can't undo what I did in House of M, but maybe I can undo the Genoshan genocide. So she uses those mystical tomes and her own powers, and she tries to resurrect the dead Genoshans, and she ends up just creating a horde of zombies.
yep.
And so the zombies are there, and the Katati show up, and so it becomes an event called Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh my god.
Screw you.
Because, oh no.
Screw you, Marvel.
Because, oh no, like, this is a horde of zombie mutants, and there's a Krakoan portal there. So they have to stop the horde of zombies from getting through the Krakoan portal because they're mutants, they can pass through the Krakoan portal. So it's like, there's a whole different thing going on where they need to stop a zombie apocalypse on Krakoa. And also the Katati are there.
So Scarlet Witch is just a disaster
She's
for
a
mutants.
disaster character.
She's
Yeah.
just
Oh, and it's great because like in the like Krakoan society, they talk about like Scarlet Witch as though she's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
She's this pretender who acted like a mutant forever, and then at
turns
our
out she's
wor-
not even actually a mutant.
and at our weakest moment took us all away. Like took away our powers, and you better say your prayers at night and like have sex orgies because if you don't, Scarlet Witch will come for you. So
Oh no!
And then she sends up. So it's just one thing after another.
yes.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Teddy's advisors, who are, of course, like the warmongering Super Skrull and the secret grandmother Skrull Empress, in disguise as a Kree pursuer, are like, come on, you gotta slaughter him. Do it anyway. Come on. They're gonna fail. And just use your sword. We'll use it again. We'll stab Captain Marvel again. And do it like harder this time. And Teddy's like, dude, I'm not gonna kill Captain Marvel again today.
Yeah.
Really pour your feeling into this one.
And so they're like, come on. And then Black Panther calls Teddy on like the psychic phone, and he's like, what's up? And he's like, hey, listen, I have a plan, but I'm gonna need your sword. And Ted's like, you got it. And because the sword will go wherever it needs to. It's like the sword of Gryffindor. And so he's like, okay, and he sends it away. And like his advisor's like, what the fuck, man? We need that sword to kill Captain Marvel and kill all the Katati. And he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Let's exhaust all our other options before we do that.
Right.
Also, I don't have to kill her. I just stabbed her once.
No,
but she
like,
died before,
She
so
died
she
before.
would
If we did it
again.
harder and with more effort, like she would definitely die this time. So Tanalth is like, yeah, Clert, we can't always like do the worst thing ever. Do you remember Crawl? What you did on Crawl? And Clert's like, oh fuck, what happened on Crawl stays on Crawl.
What happened on Crawl?
Hey, shut up. We don't talk about that. It stays on Crawl.
I'll tell you what happened on Crawl.
This fucking invasion.
Because that's another old Marvel book that Dan Slott read.
Okay.
Crawl was like a planet. Someone watched Star Trek, but old Star Trek. Crawl was a planet that was populated by a race of the pink Kree, who look like us,
Yeah.
but modeled after 1930s gangster society. And
It's a gangster planet.
it's a gangster planet. But the Katati showed up, and Clert activated the Pyre, and the Pyre is a sun exploder that the Skrulls have,
Okay.
and it's like a last-ditch effort, because like the idea is, since they're plant people, they rely on photosynthesis and sunlight and stuff.
Right.
So,
But if you blow up the sun, like, it'll also destroy the planet.
it'll kill everybody, and also they won't be able to grow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
like
the
in the
perfect
Matrix
option.
when we scorched the sun
Exactly.
to try to stop the machines
Yep.
because we thought they depended on sunlight.
That's right. That's right. So Clert killed Crawl, the planet, using the Pyre to slaughter the Katati. And that also may have been another reason why the Katati are so goddamn pissed.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
So the Pyre is a factor.
Right.
And I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah,
He
that-
already used the Pyre. The Pyre's in the sun. And when they're talking about not using it, he's like, what are you talking about? I did it 35 minutes ago. Like, they don't do the Watchmen thing where there's always screens behind him, but like, we get it.
But it's already there waiting for
It's
them
already
to use
there.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
they already have it. And they're already, like, they're
But
like...
man, that's our sun!
Our son, yeah, but not the Kree Skrull
Yeah,
son.
they don't care. Yeah. So wait, did they do that without Ted knowing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who did? Was it his advisors?
Yeah, it was
or was
Tanalth.
It was Tanalth. Okay.
It was not Klurt.
Ah.
It was Tanalth, who of course is the secret Skrull Empress, because she's like, this. My grandson is weak. He was raised by these Terrans, and they made him like lame and have like a stupid name that has nothing to do with who he is.
Right, he has this stupid affinity for Earth.
Yes.
He like won't do what's necessary to kill Earth and all these Katati.
Yeah.
So I gotta.
Yeah, and like the Katati, sure, we're gonna kill them, but also let's kill Earth to sever his connection with that place, so he'll be like the leader I've always needed for this empire.
Kill an entire planet so that my
him, I'm the
son will
Kree.
become the badass
Yeah.
I want him to be.
No,
The
you
grandson
kill the
will-
Katati, and you also kill Earth because Earth's gonna fuck you up with all of its superheroes.
It's always
it's
a
always
problem.
yeah.
It's
Exactly.
always an issue.
Yeah.
Do you remember Secret Invasion?
Right? Or any book. Captain Glory, whose Kree name is Glory, he talks to Tanalth when they're like alone. He's like, hey, Tanalth, can I talk to you for a second? I'm a genetically engineered Kree that's supposed to like know everything and recognize shit, and like I know Kree, and you're no Kree. And she's like, well done! I'm Urkill, the Grand Queen of the Skrull Empire, and I manipulated events so that like the Kree and the Skrull Empire would join because like we knew that neither empire was going to survive. Blah blah blah.
I also have a bizarre, almost Scarlet Witch headdress.
Yes, it's just a holdover from what she used to look like.
Oh.
But yeah, and he's like, I'm in.
Oh. Okay.
Like, let's do this. Now, of course, Glory is doing his own. He's playing his own game.
Ah.
He wants the Earth to be destroyed because he's like, he needs to grow. Like, our leader, our emperor, needs to be strong and not worry about that planet. And I'm down for that, but I'm gonna betray her. Like when that happens. So
It's not that I have a problem with destroying an entire planet full of people, because
No.
I seriously do not.
that's right. That's
I
right.
am a bastard as well.
Yes. Yeah. Don't forget.
But I also don't like her.
Yeah.
So I am gonna.
Well, I'm literally made to kill Skrulls.
I don't know what's up with Marvel books where they have a very simple premise, and then
have
they
to, like, complicate it.
they have to really like throw in all these
well,
twists.
they gotta
and
fill all
turns.
these pages.
Yeah.
That's my point.
This would have been a 2-issue event.
Maybe don't make it however many issues this is.
Yeah,
like
but that's
8?
the point, is to make more money. But I make more money if I get more issues.
Because like I'll summarize it in like less than a minute at the end of this. But Teddy goes to sleep, and
He's gotta sleep sometime.
He's gotta sleep sometime. They like Klurt's like we gotta make decisions. We gotta make things rolling. We should wake up the Emperor. And Captain Marvel's like, we just got him to sleep. He needs rest before he can like make good decisions. Like he's been awake for like days. And then Teddy shows back up and he's like, I'm ready to take over. I don't give a shit about anything except for like me being Emperor and running shit. And Captain Marvel's like, okay, so you're obviously Skrull pretending to be Teddy. So I'll use the Accuser hammer that was given to me by Tanalth that used to be owned by Ronan the Accuser, who is now passed, to identify who you truly are. And the hammer is like, it's a hybrid named Teddy, who is made of Kree and Skrulls. And she's like, what? So Teddy, in the last 25 minutes, just turned into a total asshole? That's crazy.
Is it like psychic mind control?
No. No, the hammer's just lying.
Oh. It can do that?
Sure. Tanalth gave it to her.
I didn't realize the hammer could identify people to begin with.
Sure. Oh,
It's a hammer.
if you're an accuser, you need something to get your like information from. Johnny Storm is there with Carol, and he's like, okay, well, I don't buy that,
Right.
so let's fight.
I don't know how that hammer works anyway. As far as I know,
Yeah.
it's not even real, so...
Klurt grabs Johnny and uses his own flame powers to siphon powers away from Johnny, and then uses his little known and seldom used hypnotism powers to get everyone to like listen to him, and then Captain Marvel just hits him in the head with her accuser hammer.
She bonks him.
Yeah, she bonks him. And then the fake Teddy forces his magician, his like royal magician, which is like a Skrull hybrid as well, who has like teleportation powers and magic and stuff, Mergin, to teleport the bad guys, which is to say Johnny and Carol, away. And she's like, this is weird. I'll teleport them like back to Earth. like not into the
space.
sun like
Right.
like everyone said they would.
Yeah, Morgan's like thinks something's afoot.
Yes.
And
So
isn't
she
fully down with
the plan.
Okay.
So she sends them to a friendly place, and where they end up is Billy Kaplan's apartment, and Billy, of course, is Hulkling's boyfriend and Wiccan, and also the son of Scarlet Witch.
Right.
And so he's like, "What's up, guys?" And they're like, "Oh man." So they explain that like Hulkling's a dick. Reed gets a call from Carol. "Hey, they got the sun blower upper, and it's gonna blow up the sun. It's aptly named." And Reed's like, "Hey, Tony, I got bad news. The reason why we were together, it's actually to solve the sun blowing up problem now." And Tony's like, "Okie dokie. I was making you a super cool Iron Man suit that stretches." And Reed's like, "Is that really a good use of your time right now?" And Tony's like,
"On board.
That's what I do. I was trying to solve problems in my head, and I think in suits. You think in stretching and whatever. Shut up. Just put on your cool Iron Man costume.
So you can go into the sun."
We're best friends now, so I made you a suit. That's what I do.
I make suits for people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and did I mention that Mantis showed up? Mantis lands, like, they call her, and she shows up to try and talk sense into her son.
You did not mention this.
I was expecting her to show up just because she was important in the backstory earlier.
Yeah, they call her, they tell her son's going AWOL, so she shows up to try and convince, Sequoia to knock it off.
Right.
Spoilers, he never listens to her and it never works. That's all that matters with Mantis. She's like, "Come on." He's like, "No, mother, you're an idiot. I'm going to wreck everything, and I'm going to listen to bands you don't like and at a very high volume."
They should explain this, where she tries to use her powers on him, but because he's her progeny, it doesn't work.
Yeah, they don't.
That would be good.
They don't.
Instead, she just talks to him.
Yeah, she's not gonna try to put him to sleep. That's crossing a line.
Fuck putting him to sleep. How about like manipulating his thoughts and being like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
She did that in a really cool story, which we're not talking about right now. Anyway, not to her son, because he's stupid. Who cares? But but Swordsman is there, and he's like his royal bodyguard and his dad, but like not really. Anyway, so another big revelation in this, when Mantis is trying to convince Sequoia to knock it off, is that like when Swordsman took She-Hulk around back, he killed her.
What?
That She-Hulk died, and then they like hollowed her out and filled her body with a Katati. Who like used her like a puppet, and that's why she could talk normally and stuff. And so she like freaks out and attacks them, and she reveals like whenever Katati impersonate humans, they always end up green, which is why Swordsman is green and confusing. But like you brought a green human to a fight, you idiot. So it was never gonna register for you. And so She-Hulk is just this like, they're using her body as like a shell, and it just becomes this like big, and of course because it's her body, it's like Hulk powers.
Okay,
so it's really strong.
The Skrulls are all green, and you didn't do this to a single one of them?
No. Well, no, because She-Hulk's a Hulk. Skrulls are Skrulls. They're like people who can change their form. Hulks are super powerful. I got like an ace in the hole here.
Well, there weren't
Hollow
any,
her out.
Yeah, you get her powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get in there.
If you put plants
So they
inside
killed
of
her?
her
They
hollowed
killed her.
out
She's
body.
dead.
So
So
Jen
She-Hulk
Walters
is dead.
is dead.
Jen Walters is dead.
In this fucking book.
Yeah, that's right. She's dead.
Off panel.
Yeah, she died off panel. So she...
Hey.
What?
Don't you understand? I killed her 35 minutes ago.
Then what follows is a fight between like the puppet dead body of She-Hulk and the Thing.
Right, because they're both big,
strong
creatures.
Yes.
Haven't they learned by now that that's not how you fight? Like, that's just two bodies like smacking against each other.
Yeah,
you have to
but-
be smart.
Well, but one of them's got plants and shit in it,
Well,
so
and
that's
and
more
one's
interesting.
a Hulk. So Thing fights She-Hulk, and it's not her.
Yeah, but it's still her body,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
it is. It is her body.
And won't she
Except
regenerate?
It's filled with plants.
Yes, like her organs and shit are still there, I guess, but like there's still a Katati in there.
That's very confusing.
She's dead. They kill her and they stick a guy in there.
Yeah.
And it like is like in between her lungs or whatever. Who cares? But they fight, and like Thing's getting his ass kicked and he's dying, and like that's illustrated by having him bleed, and everyone's like, he's dying, and I'm like, no, he's not. But anyway, like they're like, he's dying, and he's like, and normally the Thing would be like, Earth's gonna be destroyed, my family, but instead he's like, all I can think about is those two kids I just met like 45 minutes ago.
Oh my
And those kids need a parent. And I am a parent now. And so, like, I am gonna do my part. Like, I just need to not die. And it's like this big moment.
They're not your kids, man.
No, but they are now. I took them in. Like, just be, so they're not my kids because I didn't give birth to them or whatever? Like, no. A family
You essentially kidnapped them.
No, you bought them.
Yeah.
They're slaves.
I made a promise. I made a promise to them that I would be their parent.
And they're like, didn't want that or ask
Like
for it.
one day ago,
Yep.
and I'm gonna keep that promise.
That's right.
That's how I find that extra little strength inside.
Exactly. To not die. And that's it.
Yep.
He just takes it.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Isn't there another parent? Like, is it?
Yeah,
well,
Alicia.
she's not in the book.
She's not in the book. We don't want to see her. So, that fight happens. Spoilers. He eventually like overcomes, and then they beat the Katati, and she's still dead. Meanwhile, in Wakanda, Black Panther's like kicking ass and taking names with his new super duper sword.
Yeah.
But then Swordsman stabs him with a sword.
Oh.
And then they plant the Death Blossom.
Right. So all hope is lost.
Yep. Oh no. And Black Panther's dead.
What?
Is he actually dead?
No.
Oh.
No. They
he looks
stab
dead.
him through the chest with a sword. Not an energy sword.
Just a sword.
A real sword made of like metal. And then literally he just shows back up and he fights Swordsman, and Swordsman's like, "You were dead!" And he goes, "Yes, but I'm king of the dead."
What?
Black Panther...
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Black Panther's king of the dead.
Oh.
It's when used properly, it's super cool.
So like an honorary title?
No,
well, yes,
apparently-
but also he like rules the dead Wakandans. Like,
Oh.
like he's like a priest and like the leader of the country and also a superhero. Like,
Well, he's imbued by Bast.
yeah,
So like, yeah, I get having like weird god powers and
but
stuff
they also
like that.
he's also king of the dead in Wakanda.
So he can't die?
More like he can. Well, he says
Well, like
that.
he can control the dead, I would think, like dead soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like in this, it's more like because he has the heart-shaped herb within him because he eats it every morning or whatever.
Right.
He was able to like slow his heartbeat down so that it looks like he's dead and he didn't get much blood loss and whatnot.
So it just wasn't actually a fatal wound.
Nope.
It just made it look
Or
like...
it would have been fatal to anyone else,
Oh.
but not to him.
Because I wasn't beating my heart.
Yes. My
Right.
heart didn't pump blood out of my body.
So
fast
I didn't bleed out.
Yeah.
Also, I blacked out a lot
Yeah. Yeah.
because I wasn't beating my heart.
Oh, and the hole in my body, yeah, that healed or something. So that all of those, but it's such a cool moment when he shows up and he says, "I'm king of the dead," right?
It's a vibranium band-aid. It works really well.
There you go.
Yeah. We have lots of medical technology.
Or they just
crap.
shoved heart-shaped herbs in his fucking chest.
Oh yeah, just
Just eat this.
Yeah, but at the same time,
the Katati-
the Katati should be like, "Oh, a plant."
yeah.
Yes. They talk about how they're going to do it, and then he beats them anyway. So
You mentioned a marriage
God.
between
Hulkling and Wiccan got married.
That'd be amazing if suddenly they got control of Black Panther. Be like, your power comes from a plant,
Yeah,
man.
No, we don't get that moment. We do get them saying like, "I don't use the heart-shaped herb within your bloodstream to blah blah blah," and then he's like, "Nope."
so they threaten it, but
threaten it, but they
do.
never
So
do
the
it.
people who write in this book do
Are aware
think
that
of
that's a thing.
but
But they're like, "There's not enough time for us to do that."
And at the same time, they
Yeah.
kill She-Hulk,
Yes.
they
and
do
she doesn't
do
just
that.
like expel it from her body.
No.
no.
If
Even
this
though
was
you'd
regular
never be able
Hulk,
to do that to Hulk.
they
Well,
wouldn't have done it.
no.
Because it was Jen Walters. They're like, fuck it.
No, you'll see. There's Al Ewing's writing this, and he's the guy who's writing Hulk.
he's
right
got
now.
a-
So he's doing something. He needed her to die.
Doesn't Hulk have like impenetrable skin or something, or like really hard to damage skin?
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't see how she dies.
Right.
She just
okay.
does.
She just does.
Maybe she suffocates from just
What?
shoving plants.
You want me
in
to
her face.
explain it? I'm not
I
going to
guess you
explain it.
Shove
Yeah.
stuff down her throat, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Plants and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, Wiccan gets his team together because he and Teddy got married.
Okay.
In
yeah.
like a little ceremony. Like
Was that a
basically-
tie-in?
Yeah, it was in a tie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hulkling.
But in this book,
In this event.
tie-in, like they got married, like,
yeah, within this story.
okay.
Yeah, like no, like while he was sleeping, like he was like, "Oh, I have an hour before I have to be like back on the bridge.
Right.
So I'm gonna take that hour. I'm gonna bang my boyfriend, and then we're gonna teleport to Vegas, and we're gonna teleport all of our friends and family there right now, and in 15 minutes we'll get married, and then we'll bang again, and then I'll go back to war.
Okay. Is that like a we might die, so let's get married thing?
Kinda, but also in one of those like we might as well. It'd be kind of nice.
Right.
Also, that really sucks for their future plans because the Earth's gonna get destroyed,
Well,
and
they
all
can
the people
leave.
are gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the Emperor's not going to take his royal concubine with him, or his prince or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they got married.
Yeah,
and
so
so
that happened.
Wiccan teams up with Captain Marvel and the Human Torch because they're like, the Death Blossom is over there, but like the pyre on the sun.
Yeah, don't forget about that. Oh, which problem is more severe?
Well, there's two different groups that are dealing with each
Right.
different problem. So like Tony is like, I'll deal with the sun and you deal with whatever. Read
Right.
by.
Right. We got
So-
the A team and the B team. Yeah.
And
Here's your stretchy suit.
it's weird because like they solve the sun problem because like Tony explains how the sun works. I'm not going to. Not like how it works normally, but like how the pyre works
Right.
and how to undo its work.
Sure.
Because it's already activated.
Right.
But Wiccan and Captain Marvel and the Human Torch and Kl'rt they teleport with like a protection spell to the sun.
Like the inside of the sun?
No, like right outside of it.
Okay. Okay.
And they use, because they're like, maybe if we like use Captain Marvel's like energy absorption powers and Johnny's fire powers and Kl'rt's like 1/4 fire powers, we can siphon any of the additional energy that would cause the sun to explode out and off, and then put it
Okay.
into Captain Marvel, and then she can like, expel it or whatever. But like, it won't just go. We won't just point a fire blade at the Earth as a result.
right.
We'll point it at the Katati.
Right? They don't do that. They just try to like keep the sun from exploding. And Tony on Earth uses like technology to help them do it. And it's like one of those moments that's kind of like at the end of Ghostbusters 2 where Lewis like shoots the slime mold and then thinks he wins.
Yeah.
Where like they do their thing and Tony does his thing and like neither of them knows the other one's doing it and they both think they succeeded.
But they wouldn't have succeeded without each other?
More or less, yeah.
I'm amazed he just doesn't build a giant suit of armor.
Well, he makes a point of saying that he's going to build a suit of armor around the sun because like he thinks in suits and that's what he does. But like not literally, more like he's going to use
A metaphorical
suit of armor. But like even then
No,
he
I
doesn't
just-
really do that either.
I made a suit of armor, it's got hyper cooling inside.
Yeah, just psh.
There. I can go into the sun and take the thing out and it's fine.
Yeah.
Nope.
That does not happen.
Why is Kl'rt helping?
Oh, because Kl'rt wasn't part of the Pyre plan.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Kl'rt blew up the gangster planet.
Yeah. And is embarrassed about that or
He feels
feels
like an
bad.
asshole.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, no, I'm gonna try and like redeem myself.
I see.
Like no, and that's their thing. They're like, no, a hack would make Kl'rt the betrayer because that's what he does, right?
Right.
And it'd be cool. You get to see like all Fantastic Four's powers and a Skrull fighting all the good guys.
Right.
But no, like Kl'rt feels remorse for like the first time in his life, and so
Okay.
he's not. So you don't. So you're like you're suspecting Kl'rt, but then T'Nalth shows up, and oh no, it's Ricky. It's Raquel. Raquel.
Urkel?
Urkel.
So Urkel.
I was like,
Urkel.
it sounds like Urkel.
She blows at
Urkel.
the sun. She's like, did I do that?
There's the joke.
So we're hurtling toward the conclusion
inevitable
of this
conclusion
book,
of this story.
hopefully. What is this bit? I see them talking about the new Kree Skrull War. What the hell is that?
Oh, right. I forgot. T'Nalth uses... in a Fantastic Four book, they use the Omni Wave projector, the Kree like phone that if used improperly could blow up everything. We've talked about that during the Kree Skrull War, but the Omni Wave projector is used on the two children. You know, the avatars for the conflict?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they activate it on the two children, and their like condensed hate and embodiment of the war expels out throughout the galaxy, affecting every Kree and Skrull. So they like not only like remember the fights, but also feel like the hate for the other race, undoing the alliance between the Kree Skrull War. Or between the
Kree
Kree
and
Skrull empires.
Right.
Well, that's dumb.
So they just magically restart the war.
Yes. But,
Except with
Hey, Ben, how do you feel about your
technology,
kids now?
but then they fixed it.
You dummy.
Oh, they fixed it.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
you
okay.
think like, oh, we're gonna restore the status quo,
Right.
But no, like they actually they solved that problem too.
Then why even introduce it?
Well, because like it's
Because then we get to talk about the Kree-Skrull War.
oh no, yeah.
Right.
Well, I get to reference it for the umpteenth time in this book.
Well, now we have this other problem, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
like,
that's
now it's out of
well,
control.
Once
Fantastic
again,
Four is still coming out.
Marvel is just complicating and muddying the waters.
Those are called tie-ins, you know. Like, we didn't need the Omniwave projector story with the Kree-Skrull War. Hell, there's a plot point, a big plot point, where Thor goes on like a quest to get like new powers, and that was going to be in a tie-in called Empyre Thor, but they canceled it. So Thor, for no reason, leaves and then comes back and talks about how like Gaia is his mother, and he now has like Earth powers and can like tell the Earth what to do and stuff, and can like command like life to grow from Mjolnir. And like that would have made a lot of sense if there was a tie-in to explain it, but there isn't one. So for no reason, which by the way illustrates like the importance or lack thereof of tie-ins, where like in this book, Thor leaves and Iron Man's like, I sent him on a quest, and then he comes back and he has special new powers. And like he talks about them a lot. And it just nobody had time to make it or write it or print it. So like we just didn't do it.
It doesn't matter anyway.
That's right.
God damn it,
Well, that would upset
Marvel!
the status quo too much.
Yeah.
So we gotta put it back.
Yeah. So
I'm guessing he uses those powers in this book for a minute though, at the end.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
He used them multiple times.
Oh.
Like he
Let me
uses
guess.
Is that
he
what's
uses
happening
it
here?
That's right.
to bring She-Hulk back to life.
No. No.
Don't worry about that.
He can make things
Grow.
grow. Oh, grow. I'm sorry, not like give them birth.
No.
Okay.
It's not like people.
Yeah.
No. No, he kills the Katati like plants that are like, you know, infecting everything. Wiccan and company face off against fake Hulkling and like, hey, you're fake.
Right. Oh, did they reveal who he is?
Oh yeah, it's Rakul.
Ah.
Yeah, it's his grandmother.
Yeah.
Before they went and faced off against fake Hulkling, they went into like the dungeon and they picked up real Hulkling, who's wearing like a mask that is forged from.
Oh my god.
They Man in the Iron Mask him?
Well, only for a minute, but like he's wearing this mask that is forged by Skrulls to inhibit their powers, so they can't
okay.
form or change or anything. And so they can't take it off of him. And then the Omniwave projector like hits, and everyone's freaking out. So like everyone's fighting each other, but Hulkling's wearing the mask, and so like it doesn't affect him for whatever reason. And so like
Oh, the mask also has many powers.
yeah. And so like then he fights his grandmother, and she like is like, you're weak and you need to be strong and blah blah blah. And she like knocks the mask off of him, and then he puts the mask onto her, and then she can't morph or change anymore, so she's defeated. He went to bed. He went away. He got married. He came back. Went back to bed. They snatched him, put a mask on him, and then put him away.
Gotcha. Okay, so the Skrull threat is dealt with.
Yes.
But now we have to finish.
Well, they
off.
dealt with the sun.
They dealt with the
and
sun.
the Death Blossom, though.
Yeah. What about that Death Blossom?
Yeah, with the Katati.
Death Blossom dough.
Yes.
And of course, Swordsman.
Yeah,
Well,
and
and
Swordsman.
him.
Well, Black Panther shows up with the with his sword, the space sword, the Excelsior sword,
Right.
And he stabs him.
and he stabs Swordsman. Well,
I bet you can't stop your heart.
no, it's basically Black Panther's like, I'm the last one standing, Swordsman and Sequoia, so get away. And then Swordsman's like, he grabs Sequoia and he's like, I'll kill the boy if you don't leave me alone.
What?
Because like Swordsman's an asshole.
Oh. Well, why would they care if he kills Sequoia? Sequoia's the bad guy.
because he's that's right. Black Panther's like, what do I care?
Right. Okay,
Like,
do it.
I wasn't in the book where he was invented, so I don't care about him.
Right.
I barely care about you.
Right.
And
I'm not like the normal Avengers where like I get squeamish about death.
yeah.
I'm the ruler of a country. I have to make hard decisions.
Yeah, like this one. And so he attacks Swordsman anyway. And I get the impression that he like basically hits both of them because he knows right now Sequoia is not the enemy. Swordsman is. So the sword doesn't kill Sequoia, it kills Swordsman.
Right this second, he's not the
Right
enemy.
now. Well, the sword's really fast. I mean, whatever, it's a magic sword that like
Has Sequoia expressed any like hesitation?
absolutely not.
Or remorse.
Nope.
Okay. Someone's grabbing him and threatening him, so the sword's like, oh, I guess he's not a threat right now.
Yeah. Not right now.
Okay.
You want to deal with him in a different way. I get it.
What a
Right,
dumb
right.
sword.
So it kills. So he stabs Swordsman and stabs the Death Blossom through Swordsman and kills the Death Blossom.
He kills the Death Blossom with a sword? Oh, it's a magic sword. Or it's the energy sword.
He like taps the thing and then it cuts to the next page and like, well, that was over. Like the character's just like, whoo! Like we don't even see the Death Blossom really explode.
No.
We just see him like stab it and then it's over.
Well, it's like an
Literally
egg.
This.
I
didn't
stabbed
bloom.
it a little bit, and like, oh, the
All
shell's
this
busted.
just stuff kind of poured out of it. It was
Yeah,
really gross.
or
Goop.
whatever. I don't know, but it's over now.
Right.
There,
They
it's
win.
done.
And then they're like, and then Mantis shows up and she's like, you know, everyone, it's over.
Right.
The war's over. The Katati are defeated, and Mantis goes up to Sequoia and she's like, now do you want to not be such a jerk? And he's like, no, Mom, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody. I hate everything and everyone, especially you. And she's like, oh. So then they arrest all the Katati, and then they go to like, and then Thor and a bunch of characters like take all the Katati and Sequoia, and they go to like a barren, uninhabited planet far away with uncharted stars, and they drop them off. And Sequoia's like, well, you've all but murdered us. Like, what kind of like thing is this? And then Thor takes his Gaia powers and he infuses all of it into the planet to make like a lush paradise for them. Where it's like a prison planet because they have no technology and they have no reach and they can't like talk to anybody or travel.
So I got my powers, and now I put all of it into this planet, so I don't have them anymore.
Now I have my old Thor powers, so no one's confused when you pick up Thor.
It's good.
Right.
Yeah.
It was dumb to do anyway.
Yeah. So he does that.
They're
So-
plant people.
put
Can't
them-
they just make it lush?
Yeah, they should, but they don't. So, well, maybe they can only do it with the Death Blossom. But like they go, and so that's where the Katati
That's where they are now.
So because
they go to
the
City
Avengers
Alpha
are
5.
not, yes, because the whole thing is that the Avengers didn't want to slaughter everybody, so they're like, oh, go over there.
Right.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Wrath of Khan for the Katati. Except I can because I think the Katati are dumb and I don't care about them.
Yeah.
So they win.
So they win.
They win, and the Kree and the Skrull Empire remains. Like their union is secured, and
And it's stronger than ever now.
and it's stronger than ever. It's forged through battle
Right.
and victory. And
Although the advisors should still be very upset that Hulkling, Teddy, married a Earthling.
no, they don't really care. What he wants to do in his spare time is irrelevant. They do not like the. I mean, I'm sure they probably don't like the fact that he's like a human.
Yeah,
But like, whatever.
that's the whole point.
They don't really bring it up. They're actually earlier. They don't like it, and they try to break them up.
But then they get
But now it's over because it's like, well, he's proven himself as a leader. I guess I'll just trust his judgment. So they do. Meanwhile, his grandmother is like, "Oh, Teddy, like beware this union. Let me give you a bunch of shady prophecy bullshit about how like your friends will abandon you, the Empire will crumble, and everything that you love will come to ruin, and before the day is over, you will like admit that your grandmother was right." Because like Teddy's whole thing is like kindness and fairness and understanding is more powerful than like an iron fist and like death
And hate.
and hate.
All right.
And then she's like, no. And then there's an epilogue that's like, yeah, she's right.
What?
And you're like, fuck you.
She's right in what way?
A nebulous way that will be dealt with in another event someday in the future.
Oh.
Because like when we see it, it just says like sometime in the future. And like Teddy's ship is wrecked and all of his people are dead and he's lying there and he's like, my grandmother was right about everything. Literally everything she said was right. I like was betrayed and I hate Earth and people and all of this. And then Abigail Brand shows up and she's wearing the outfit she's gonna wear in the upcoming Sword book. And she's like, come on with me if you want to live. Let's kick ass. I'm an X-Man or something. Let's go.
What?
And you're like, oh, Hickman's gonna do something with this? Bye. And then, no, Ewing's gonna do something with this, with his Sword book that he's gonna do. Because like, they have a big party at the end.
Yeah.
To celebrate the fact that Jennifer Walters died, of course.
Yeah, well, who cares? She talks
Nobody's
funny.
upset.
So they're all having a party, and they're celebrating the fact that like Teddy got married and that they won, and Abigail Brand shows up because she was in charge of Alpha Flight, which was kind of like headed up by Carol Danvers, and that Alpha Flight was their replacement for Sword back when they didn't want to use Sword because it was a Fox property, and so she's like, hey Carol, can I talk to you over here for a second? When Earth was invaded by plant people, I never got a phone call at Alpha Flight And Carol's like, oh yeah, I should have kept you in the loop with that. And Abigail's like, and Abigail punches her in the face, and she's like, Alpha Flight wasn't an afterthought. Like, sword, Alpha Flight, space, defense is important. If you're gonna put me in charge of shit, you gotta make me in charge of shit. I quit.
Well, it's kind of your job to be on
Be
top
aware
of that.
yeah.
You're in charge of Alpha Flight then, Abigail.
Yeah, why didn't you know about that? And she's like, no, but because you and your 7 friends all like, were buddy-buddy with these people, like, fuck you. And so she leaves. And it's mostly because she's an X-Men character. So she bails and goes to play with Hickman's universe.
I'm gonna go to Krakoa.
Yeah, more or less. So she leaves, and she'll, of course, head up Sword, which the X-Men have already established as their spacefaring government.
Okay.
Then they're all hanging out on the moon, and they see this dude in a robe. And they're like, what's that all about? And they're
He
like,
keeps looking at us.
yeah. And they're like, oh, that's the Unseen. The Unseen is like the replacement for Watcher when he died. And he like is, I guess, the de facto Watcher, and he shows up at like moments of great significance. They're like, what's this? What was he looking at us for? And it's like, oh, because like they don't know it's Nick Fury, and no one wants to use the Unseen and Nick Fury because that's stupid. And then Nick Fury is like, you know, aha, like this is crazy. Like there's shit that's coming you don't even know. And then his eye like glows and explodes out of his head, and Uatu flies out.
Oh,
What?
shit!
And Uatu's there, and he's got one eye, and it's the eye that was shoved into Nick Fury's head. And he's like, oh, fuck, man, I can't believe that I've been dead since Original Sin. And Nick Fury's like, Watcher, what's going on? And Watcher goes, there will be a reckoning. And I'm like, I don't want to see Watcher say that. I don't want Watcher like putting on like ammo belts and getting souped up, being like, oh, we're gonna kick ass.
I thought we were just having a bizarre Matrix ending where Nick Fury's like, eye explodes, and then the Watcher comes out of that and he flies at the screen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's way more satisfying than whatever you get afterwards. But no, Watcher. I don't think Watcher's like there to kick ass and take names. It's more like Watcher's
just,
like he's
pissed.
telling you like there's gonna be a reckoning.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
And I have one eye. And eventually I'll get a cybernetic eye.
Shit's gonna get real.
Nick, how do you do this? I feel like I'm reaching for things and it's not there. I'm too close. I'm too far.
I promise you one day, like Avengers Mountain will explode. The Watcher will get a cybernetic eye, and at some point or another, things are gonna look a lot like they did about 20 years ago. So Hulks can't die.
Right.
Immortal Hulk, the idea is when he dies, he goes to like a plane of existence, and there's like a green door, and every time he goes through the door, he can come back to life. Jen Walters, for the first time, dies. Well, she's died before, but like she dies. The point is, she can resurrect too, because she's a Hulk.
Okay.
So she sees a green door. But the Bruce Banner's dad analog One Below All character is like, I won't let you come back. So like, you get to come back this one time. You hit the green door this time, but don't die.
But this is it.
This is it. So
Everybody gets one now.
well, you get one.
Because you're not real
You're
Hulk.
not Bruce.
Right.
You died and you came back, and he came back multiple times, and I put a stop to that.
No, I keep letting him do that because like I got plans.
Because I'm
for
him.
I'm him. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not me. You're someone else.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
don't die again.
Don't die again. So
I bet I do, and I bet I come back again.
I bet when I bet the next time I do, they won't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Anyone won't be
Well,
running it.
They'll forget the green door.
Yeah.
Well, eventually she's gonna go back to just being She-Hulk, and Bruce Banner will be Hulk again, probably.
I mean, Bruce Banner is Hulk.
Anymore.
It's just that he's like multiple. He's different types of Hulks depending on what story's going on. But like, Jen will eventually be Jen again. But when she comes back, she's the Hulk Jen.
Oh, what if she was gray?
Right.
That'd be fun.
she's
Well,
still-
she was already gray after she got PTSD from getting hit by a missile.
I remember her being red. Maybe she could be blue
No, that
this
wasn't
time?
her. That was Betty. Betty was Red She-Hulk.
Oh.
Yeah.
But hey, we got Ghost Rider Quinjet.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Did you do it again? Or
and Plant Monster She-Hulk.
Plant Monster She-Hulk?
That was
Monster
cool
She-Hulk.
drawing for a few panels.
Yeah.
Her face is all viney and gross.
I know. There's actually like some concept art here for it.
And Ben Grimm saying like, I'm a parent now, I can't give up.
Yep. Empyre, check it out, I guess.
You know, if the Profiteer like came back and was like, I was behind all this the whole time, that would actually be like kind of more interesting. It's like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen that coming.
No, she does come back, but she's like, I own those kids.
Right.
Collector's like, technically, I am the person that owns
Yeah,
things.
that's my bag.
Is she planning to like redo? I guess she's gonna restart the.
Is there
The Empire?
No,
or
the
war?
the battles. The betting.
How can she do that? Her little avatars are gone.
Well, that's why she was trying to
Well,
get
she
him
could just get
back,
more.
right? To
I was going to ask, are there
redo
just
the
more
gladiatorial-
people throughout the universe who have
I don't
this bizarre
No one's gonna do anything.
theme where like, oh, I'm the collector, I collect things. Oh, I'm the profiteer,
I
profit.
I'm
the
the
Grandmaster.
I'm the
chef.
Grandmaster. I make games.
I cook things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clearly a thing that they at least have a handful of characters
Yes.
doing. I mean, Galactus, I eat plant. Like, everyone's got a single
Everyone
function.
does a job. Yep. And if you want to read it, it's like if you're just looking for like a classic epic Marvel Avengers story, go read Avengers No Surrender. But if you want to read this, it's in the description. Go check it out, I guess. All right. See you next week.